All right, guys, welcome into episode 18 of the Wildcard Lads. I'm Ryan,
I'm Peter.
And I'm Markello.
and we have made it to Wildcard weekend.
About time.
Yeah, we have 6 games, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday.
We're starting with the first game.
Yeah, which is Colts at Bills, 105.
All right, Ryan, this is your division. You start with
Yep.
it.
I feel like a lot of people are counting out the Colts in this too.
They are.
Seem like
See,
a lot
I
of
the Bills
people.
are heavily favored.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
I actually really like the Colts. I'm happy they made it. I talked about it last week. I didn't think the Dolphins I didn't want a rematch of Dolphins and Bills, and last week's Week 17 was an embarrassment for the Dolphins, letting up 56 points, in a must-win game. Not against all the Bills backups, but half the game was the Bills backup, so not ideal. So hopefully the Colts put up a better fight, but I'm still picking the Bills. Like the Bills, I think are the hottest team in football over the last 8 weeks. And granted, I don't think they're going to score 56 points again, but my main concern about this game is actually Philip Rivers in Orchard Park in January.
Do we know what the weather's going to be like besides cold?
Cold.
Yeah, it's cold. It's not going to be too bad. It could have been much worse. There's no snow, I don't believe, but it's just a matter of the Colts, in order to stay in this game, need to keep it basically like a one-score game the entire way and kind of hopefully run Jonathan Taylor. Like that's their key. But I just have a feeling, even as good as the Colts defense is, that the Bills are just going to pass all over him. Like Deshaun Watson had no problem the last 2 times they faced off, and I just feel like the Bills have too much firepower now, even with John Brown back. I don't know if Beasley's playing; he's questionable, but just between Diggs, John Brown, the Browns.
Didn't they also sign Stills?
Yeah, but he's on the practice squad. I'm not sure if he's playing. But I'm going Bills. But I would like for this. I hope it's a close game. I really do.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you on this. To be honest, Philip Rivers in Orchard Park right now is not going to be a fun situation. So, if their running back game can't get going, it's going to be a very tough day for them. And I really like that defense as well, but like you said, eventually, if you're out there for say 45 minutes, you're going to slip up, and Josh Allen's going to pounce on you with Stephon Diggs, and not going to be a fun time.
Well, so this is where it's difficult for me because I've been rooting for the Colts all season, but coming into this season, I think I told, it wasn't on the podcast, it was before even it was preseason. It was actually even in the off season after free agency and the draft. I think I told Ryan I had the Bills going to the AFC Championship. Ryan, do you remember that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so it's hard for me to say this because, it's just the wild card round. And I know everybody's picking the Bills, and I'm a believer in the Bills, and I think they could get there, and I'm not locking this game in. But I just think the Colts match up well against them. So I'm going to personally pick the Colts, but there's an easy way for the Bills to win. I won't be surprised, and I'm not going to be upset if the Bills win because we're my AFC Championship team. I just think they match up. I think we've seen from the Bills defense, I think that's what's going to make the Colts win this game is their ability to match up against the Bills defense because their offense, the Bills, Josh Allen, they're going to score points regardless of how good the Colts play on defense. Josh Allen's going to score points. But I do think that the Colts will be able to, like you said, Ryan, keep it a 1-possession game towards the end of the game. And then even if it's in Buffalo and it's cold, I'll take the experience of Phil Rivers, needing, he knows there's 2 years left, if anything, maybe just one. So he's going to, this is it for him. This is his window to try to make any kind of push towards, whether it's a championship playoff game or a Super Bowl, whatever the case may be. And obviously last year's Josh Allen is different than this year's. He's not going to have that choke performance that he did against Deshaun Watson and the Texans like last year, because last year they had the game in the bag and Josh Allen just threw it away. I don't think Josh Allen's going to be, a slump or, hunched over. He's going to put up a fight. He's going to have a good game. But I think it will be a close game, and because of that, I'm confident the Colts being able to pull it out. I just think when they dedicate their offense to the running game, and this is not recency bias based on what they did against the Jaguars to end the season, it's just I don't see with the offensive line that they have, and just because the Bills defense have been playing good, it's you could fall back into bad habits like what we saw in the beginning of the season if you face the right opponents and the right schemes. And I just think the matchups is going to be too good for the Colts. So I'm going to go underdog and I'm going Colts.
I like it. What a storyline that would be, huh? For Philip Rivers pushing toward, maybe his first Super Bowl. If he beats the Bills, I think the Bills are the best team right now in the AFC, just excluding the Chiefs. So you'd have to get past the Chiefs then after, but to beat the Bills would be a huge storyline. And
Well,
Frank Wright,
think about it too. That's not
Bills,
the
so that would be some, Frank Wright
yeah,
going to
but
Buffalo winning.
the Colts don't need, this heavy, deep passing game to win games. That's not their,
No, they're not.
scheme. That's not their offense anyway. So the Colts shouldn't be that much of an issue for them. You could say if, it's third and long and something, I get it. But I don't know how often they'll be in third and long situations. They're too good of a team. They're too, balanced of an offense. So I'm confident in my Colts pick. I think they match up well against man defense or cover one, which the Bills like running. So I think it's a good matchup for them. And plus, they're the underdogs. They know that they're the underdogs. And, it's always good to go into a playoff game as the underdogs.
All right, I like it. Let's move on to our next game. Rams at Seahawks.
I was having a lot of trouble with this one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Really?
Are all the COVID cases still like 100% with the Rams, or?
Cooper Kupp is definitely playing. He got activated, I think, yesterday.
I know. What's his? He said he wasn't going to announce quarterback.
Yeah, Jared Goff, we have no idea. I think he's going to play.
That's what I think too.
If he
So
plays,
that's why
he's
like
gonna
I'm
be limited,
teetering.
like in terms of like production.
That's true, but against like Seattle's defense, although it has been playing better, I don't think he needs to be 100% anymore.
And especially the Rams defense, like I don't know, it gives them a lot of room to not be great. You know what I mean?
I mean, they split during the year, obviously. Their last game, Seattle kind of just dominated because that was a really like defensive game.
Yeah.
My only problem is just exclude the Rams offense for a second and Goff. What is going on with Seattle and Russell Wilson right now? Like I don't think I've seen their offense score 25 points in like 8 weeks. It just feels like they're winning 17.
They stopped letting him throw the ball like crazy.
Like I know
They started doing run heavy stuff again.
Yeah, they started pounding the rock, being the classic Seahawks, even though they don't have the backs for it. But I don't know.
I think I'm gonna pick Seattle just because of Russell Wilson.
I don't even think you need to give the Russell Wilson excuse. I feel like the next round of the playoffs, whoever they face, I think that's when you could say, look, the other team they're facing is really good, but they don't have Russell Wilson. This week, it's just, the missing players and the players not playing at 100% for the Rams. Even if Jared Goff plays, just from, being a Saints fan and experience, they've got obviously different injuries, but still a thumb injury like Drew Brees from last year, when they come back, it's you're not going to have the same, velocity on your throws and on your spirals. And that's assuming that Goff plays, just because it's the playoff game. I'm sure they'll force him to play. But like they're saying, he has no problem gripping the ball or passing. But again, that's just, media talking and McVay talking, and that could easily be a lie. We don't know how well he's actually throwing or not. I haven't seen any video of it. And even a healthy Goff and Rams team, I might still just go with the Seahawks anyway. And now you tell me that, Goff's thumb's not 100%. He just had surgery like a week and a half ago. I think Seattle's the safe choice and best choice if you're picking a game out of this.
This one's just kind of interesting because like the Rams defense matches up very well with what Seattle do offensively. Like Metcalf's probably
because you could auto Ramsey with Metcalf.
Metcalf's probably going to be shut down.
That's what I'm saying. I really like the defensive aspect of like the Rams just taking over the game.
It's pretty fun. That's what happened in between them, and then the second game it was the opposite. Seattle's defense took over.
So I don't want it to get confused too, because everybody's talking about how good the Seattle defense is now. Jamal Adams says that's the best defense in the NFL now. If I forgot the list, I don't have it on hand. The quarterbacks they faced in the past like 5 to 7 games have been like laughable, which is why they've had the defensive statistics, and it's been low scoring games, and the defense has been playing. They've been playing like sorry quarterbacks. So it's not like they're playing these playoff caliber offenses. So when they run into one, it might be a problem for them in the playoffs.
Yeah, it probably will be. But I will say, like, at least their defense has been getting it together, because the beginning of the season was such. I know they're not playing.
Well, they're getting it together against inferior talent.
But still, I mean, you want to build confidence. I think Seattle have defensively. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna lock in Seattle. I don't think I'm gonna switch this pick. Between Goff, just trying it. I just feel like he has very little pocket presence to begin with. So
I'm not gonna lock it in, but I think I gotta go Rams this week.
I like it.
Okay. I'm going Seahawks. It's easy for me.
Markel, do you even care if John Wolford is the quarterback or no?
I'd probably switch to Seahawks at that point, but for now,
He wasn't that bad last week. I'm not gonna lie.
he wasn't bad, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
there were some mistakes, but still, he's kind of fun. Like he's fast. So, but anyway,
Yeah, for
what
now.
What are you going, Peter? Seahawks or Rams?
I think you said Seahawks, right?
Yeah,
Said
I'm sorry.
Seahawks?
I said Seahawks.
All right, so 2 Seahawks, 1 Rams. And our final game Saturday is Tampa Bay at Washington.
So
Chase
let me
Young
say
did it,
this.
man.
Hold on.
You messed up. Listen. Let me say, they lost this game the second Chase Young opened up his mouth and got Tom Brady mad.
They lost the
Not
game
here.
before that. That's irrelevant. They lost the game before that. Do you guys watch First Things First?
Sometimes.
Not this
Nick
week.
Wright has been saying for weeks that if the Bucks had to face Washington in the playoffs, the Bucks would lose. He's betting with like co-hosts and stuff that the football team's going to beat the Buccaneers, and there's just no shot of that. I understand like Tom Brady's weakness is a good pass rush and a good front, and that's what Washington has to offer. And even though they have a conservative offense, they could still put up points when
They
they
have
need
a
to.
pretty good secondary too. Like their secondary flashes.
From the beginning of the season, I was rooting for Washington. I want them to have success, but let's take into account that even though they won against the Eagles with the benching of Jalen Hurts and all that, besides the point, Alex Smith is not 100%. Antonio Gibson's not 100%. And even though Terry McLaurin had a great game, he's not 100%. And if you're not playing the Buccaneers 100%, even without Mike Evans, I think he's going to play. But even if he's not 100%, you still have Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. You still have Tom Brady and the offensive line. And you still have your front seven. I don't think Devin White's playing actually this week.
Yeah, he's
so that'll be good for, I think, McKissick out of the backfield being faster than whoever's trying to keep up with him. So it's a good matchup, hypothetically, like person on person roster wise for Washington to keep it close. And they still might keep it close, but Tom Brady's not losing the wild card round to Alex Smith. He's going to be able to outscore him in this offense, regardless of how good this front is. Whether it's from dump offs or, seam routes to Rob Gronkowski, they'll find a way to put up points. I don't think the Buccaneers are going all the way, but this is the game that I don't think they'll drop.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you on that. Like, I like what you said. I think they do match up well, like front seven wise, but outside of that, I think Tom Brady, like you said, will just find his like little dink and dunks to Gronk, AB, and then they'll just
You
run
have to
away with
remember
the
how
game
young
eventually.
this Washington team is.
That's what it is
They have
too.
a few
But
vets,
I think that they're definitely a few pieces away from even being like a serious contender also. That's the other thing. Outside of Scary Terry, who you really like relying on, other than maybe Logan Thomas.
Well, that's what I said. So they won the division this year. I remember when we were picking, division predictions from week one or right before week one, I had Washington winning it next year. But, they came out, they surprised everybody this year. Alex Smith came back. Nobody was expecting that, and they won it this year. And they've already overachieved. They've already had an overachieving season. I want them to beat Tom Brady and the Bucks, but I just don't think that's plausible.
A lot of playoff experience there. Don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm also going Bucks. So this is the first game we all agree on. I actually think this is gonna be the most boring game of the weekend. I'm happy for Washington and their story, but like watching Alex Smith and the Washington offense play is like watching paint dry. So I think they're going to score like 13 points, maybe most. I don't think they're going to maybe one touchdown. A lot of field goals. And I'm going to go. I think the Bucs are just going to pull away like 30-13. I think it'll be close early on. And I just think the lack of, Alex Smith being healthy and the lack of just Washington offense in general right now, because Washington don't have a great offensive line either. And I know Devin White isn't playing, but Shaq Barrett's back.
Yep.
Jason Pierre-Paul, I feel like they'll get in there, kind of, limit what Washington want to do. Washington struggled, pretty heavily against Philly. And if we're being honest, if Jalen Hurts doesn't get benched, I'm not even sure Washington's here right now. Could be your giant yellow.
Oh, thank God. Thank the Lord, man.
So,
dude, I saw Twitter's. Sorry, like to sidetrack this. I saw everyone's like reaction on Twitter of the Jalen Hurts benching, like all the Giants players. Like, what's going on? What is this? Like, I'm sorry, guys, we're not ready. Wait another year. Take your top pick and be happy with it.
Yeah, but anyway, Washington's had a hell of a season. I don't think maybe Peter was like one of their only people picking them, even though he didn't pick them to win the division. Like, their story in general between Ron Rivera coming in, turning around this franchise, beating cancer in the same season, dealing with all the Dwayne Haskins stuff. Like we don't even know probably half of it behind the scenes. So Washington's been incredible. For how they did last year coming into this year, even though they only won 7 games, it was good enough to win the NFC East. And I am excited for Washington's future. Just for right now, I kind of want them out of the playoffs, to be honest.
I actually think it's gonna be more fun than the afternoon Rams Seahawks game.
But at least, even though that might be like a little bit sluggish, because I know Russell Wilson isn't playing good in golf, I feel like the teams though are like they kind of deserve to be here.
Yeah, look, the best thing Washington can ask for is a close game in the fourth quarter. Obviously, you want to because there's no option of them blowing out the Bucs. It's not a possibility. So you just want to be able to be close to be able to finish the game. But if it's a close game, 2 minutes left, and Tom Brady has the football against, your defense is good, your front seven is great, but they're not going to be able to stop Tom Brady in a 2-minute drill.
Well, yeah, Washington are gonna have to Chase Young's gonna have to get in there. Montez Sweat. It's possible. Like they cause a turnover too. I just don't know. I don't know Washington's.
It'll last a span of a whole game.
Yeah, and if they do that, Washington's gonna have to score touchdowns off those plays. You can't be scoring field goals.
The thing is, when you just have a better team, like you could afford to have a turnover or two and still win the game. So if Tom Brady has a turnover, the Bucs could still win the game. If Alex Smith has a turnover, I don't think they have a chance. They need to make every count. Even if it's field goals, you need to stack up some kind of points.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, those are the Saturday games.
Our Sunday games. Who was up first on Sunday?
Rematch of the Ravens and the Titans.
In Tennessee.
This is going to be such a good game because the Ravens are super hot and Tennessee has been playing out of their mind this year. Except for the defense. Sorry. Yeah, Tennessee offense has been playing out of its mind this year.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. I think it's going to be the most fun game of the weekend. Just because
this is the only one I'm
Henry
on the fence of.
This one has turned into a bit of a rivalry now because they had a rematch earlier this year and Tennessee actually won. Derrick Henry had a knockoff overtime.
Dude, especially what Derrick Henry did to them last year. Oh my God, I'd be fuming if I was the Ravens.
But the Ravens have been also, besides the Bills, one of the hottest teams to end the year. Although, granted, if you look at their opponents, they have not been that impressive. Take it for what you want, but still, the Ravens are hot. And I'm actually going to pick the Ravens here. I think Lamar finally gets his first playoff game win in year 3. I think we kind of shut up a little bit about him. I think he was a little bit overblown to begin with, but I think the Ravens win this. I have no doubt that the Titans are going to score. Derrick Henry's probably going to have over 100 yards. It is what it is, but I just have no belief in this Titans defense. I don't know what happened within the span of a year. I know they lost Jarrell Casey, but there hasn't been that much injury or people who left Tennessee. So their defense is just a mess. Absolutely no pass rush. So I just have a hard time seeing them stopping Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, the run game for Baltimore. So I got a feeling this game's gonna be 34-27, but I'm just gonna go Ravens.
Yeah, I have a feeling Markel is gonna pick the Titans, so I'll let him go first. Get that out of the way.
I'm teetering. I wasn't 100% Titans, but I'm leaning Titans.
Okay.
I just don't know what to do about it.
I'm actually picking the Ravens with Ryan, and I'm actually surprised, Ryan. I thought you both were going to pick the Titans. I was going to be the only one on the Ravens, kind of like the Bills and Colts scenario we just went over. Look, like you said, they played last year in the playoffs, and I remember going into that playoff game, I thought the Ravens were going to blow out the Titans, and the opposite happened. The Titans blew them out. The Titans their defense stopped Lamar completely. He had no idea what to do. He threw almost 50 times, I think, or it might have been 50 times. And if Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball 50 times, you're probably losing the game. Then they played again this year. The Titans still won. But this time in the playoffs, Lamar said, so you have the competitive aspect. Lamar knows what this game means. He knows about the rivalry, like Ryan said. He knows people are saying he can't win a playoff game. He acknowledged it. And the only difference I have is it's not even comes down to coaching because both coaching staffs are great. Both offenses are great. They could kill clock. And Marquise Brown, say what you want, even though it's not 100-yard games and multiple touchdowns, he's still finding a way in an end zone towards the second half of the season. The latter half, he's been finding the end zone. So if you could have a reliable receiving threat on third down, and this Titans defense was way better last year than it is this year. So I don't think they're going to be able to stop Lamar like they did last year. I don't think it's going to be a shell shock. And if the Ravens could control some kind of clock, contrary to last year, I think they could easily win this game. And like Ryan said, there's still going to be points put up on both ends. Derrick Henry's probably still going to go over 100 yards because the Ravens are very bend, don't break this year. But come playoff time, the Ravens defense could 100% make a stop when they have to or a turnover when they have to, when the Titans defense can't do that. And even though both teams are going to be good in ball control and running the ball, I'm going to go with the team that's defense is going to be able to make a stop at the end of the game. So I'm going Ravens.
I like that. I mean, the only thing I'm just concerned about is I don't want Lamar to have to throw 50 times this game for them to win.
I don't think he'll have to. This Titans defense is too bad for that.
No, I get they're a bad defense,
it's a different year. It's a new team.
If the offense comes out, like the Titans offense is going to come out and they're going to score no matter what. That offense is just ridiculous this year. No matter, like, running the ball, great. Receivers, amazing. Tannehill has just like such a good way of finding his receivers and, getting it downfield. I'm just genuinely concerned if you have Lamar Jackson out there that eventually you'll make your adjustments and stop him on 1 or 2 drives. And then if the Titans score and if Lamar has to start throwing to get back into it, I don't like it.
I don't think Tennessee's not going to score on every single drive.
Not every single drive, but you can force a few mistakes.
I think there's a better chance for Tannehill to turn over the ball than Lamar this weekend.
So do I.
I'm teetering. I'm going to say Titans for now, but I could switch it.
Okay. That's fair. Again, this is the hardest game of the week to predict.
I love that this game's a rematch again. Like they had it last year, they had it this year in the regular season. So round 3. Let's see if Baltimore can get one. So,
okay.
Yeah, the next game is Nickelodeon, Peter's Saints, Bears at Saints.
So, just for the record, every year for the past few years, I've always gone out for the Saints game. I've gone to friend's house, family's house, whether it's wild card rounds or divisional rounds or championship rounds, right? I'm always out, so I'm always heartbroken every year. This weekend, I'm staying home. And if the Saints come out with a win, I'm staying home the rest of the playoffs. So I'm staying home this weekend. So again, we played the Bears before in the playoffs. We barely, got by, but we still beat them. We beat them in the playoffs. We beat them again this year. We played them in the regular season. We played them in the regular season last year. We demolished them last year. This year was more close. Everybody's freaking out because I think Allen Robinson might have missed a practice. Maybe one practice he missed, but it's a playoff game. And just like Jared Goff, when you're a star player and you're needed to win a game, you're going to play. Allen Robinson's going to play. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is activated off the COVID list. He's going to play. Drew Brees is going to play. It's looking like Alvin Kamara is going to play. He tweeted out, "I'll see you on Sunday." Looks like he'll play. He did the virtual meetings and practice along with the team. Michael Thomas is back. So Emmanuel Sanders is going to be there. Jared Cook's on a roll. Everybody's rolling. I have a few question marks about our defensive line, but I'm confident in our secondary. I'm confident in Demario Davis to hold on to the linebacking core and hold on to this game. We're a better roster than Chicago. We're a better team than Chicago, better coach, better quarterback, better everything. We should win this game. Again, the only team that could beat the Saints are the Saints. So that's everybody's worry. That's why Saints fans are holding their breath. But I think it's clear and obvious. I think everybody's going to pick the Saints to win this game, which is also worrisome because Khalil Mack came out today and said, we know what people are saying. We know we're the underdog, and you don't want a team to have that kind of, mentality going into a game. I do think it's going to be close. It's not a blowout. It won't be a blowout. Mitch Trubisky's playing well, regardless of him getting beat by Aaron Rodgers when he needed a win. Their offense is going to roll. I think what's concerning for Chicago fans is everybody's freaking out about Allen Robinson, but Darnell Mooney, they're basically only deep threat this year. He's missed practice, so I don't know if he's going to play or not. Do you guys know about that?
No, he's missed practice Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know about today. And he's coming off like 11 catch games, so they really need him to play.
Yeah. So that's my number one concern going into it. Not even Allen Robinson, but I'm going to assume they're going to score some this way. Whose mic is echoing?
I think it's you.
Yeah, I don't even hear it.
It's me? All right, well, I'm picking Saints, so you guys take care of it.
Hold on.
I'm also picking the Saints, but I'm not counting out the Bears. Like the Saints have blown playoff games before. I actually think the Bears are they're a decent playoff team. I can't lie. It seems like every time they make it, they actually do win a playoff game. Now, this is a tough opponent, of course, and they don't have good success against the Saints in recent history. I'm not a fan of Trubisky. Obviously, Foles and you guys had a close matchup this year, but now it's Trubisky's team. My only problem, and that's why I'm not picking the Bears, is Trubisky settles for field goals. He did it last week against the Packers, and you keep doing that over and over, and then you let someone like, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees, you just can't do that because they're going to score because their offenses are better than what Trubisky's working with too. So if the Bears want to have a chance of winning this game, they have to score touchdowns, maybe settle for one field goal, but they can't do what they did last week. I don't see the Saints having difficulty stopping David Montgomery. Even last week, Montgomery ran for like 20 carries, like 60 yards, so it wasn't that impressive. But he also had receptions for like 40 yards. So I'm gonna go Saints. It seems like they're getting healthy and all kind of back at the right time. I guess they did kind of all miss. Like I feel like Drew Brees, Thomas, and Kamara has barely been on the field this year. Maybe for like a game or two.
10 quarters.
Yeah, so maybe at first there's a little bit of a lack of chemistry, but I just feel like the Bears are also kind of banged up too. We're still not sure about Roquan Smith. If he's not playing, that's a huge win for the Saints. And Jalen Johnson's also, I think he's coming back. He's been out for like 3 weeks. They're outside corner. Back. And Buster Screen is also still out, I believe. He's still in concussion protocol. It's been like 3 weeks, so he must have suffered a pretty serious concussion. So to me, it seems like the Saints are getting healthy, and right at the same time, and the Bears are kind of a little bit banged up. And I feel like the Saints are just going to win this game. Close game though, like 27-20.
Roquan Smith's out for the season, right?
He's gone for the year?
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking on Roto World right now. Matt Nagy confirmed he was headed. This is December 9th, headed to injury reserve with a torn pectoral muscle.
Oh yeah,
and he'll miss the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going Saints.
Yeah, I think I have to go Saints too in this one. Just I hope you guys don't, like you said, beat yourself this year, or the great NFL officiating crew does something to screw you guys over late in the game. If all goes well, all goes to plan, you guys are getting healthy at just the right time. The NFL really did you guys a favor letting you play on Sunday. Hopes to get back Kamara and all your other guys from the COVID list. So all goes well, easy win for the Saints, and you move on to next week.
That sounds like a trap.
Yeah, and seeding wise, so again, we're not going to be able to predict all of the games of who's going to match up with who, because again, depending if there's an upset, then the playoff matchups change. So I think as of right now, the Saints would play if they won this week. I'm not even going to think about it. 1 week at a time. Not even think about it.
There we go. I like that mindset.
Think about it.
Yeah, 1 game at a time. All right, our final game of the weekend, Cleveland at Steelers. I'll just keep it short. I'm going to pick Steelers, but this is kind of upsetting. I feel like the Browns have been cheated. Like they're playing with no coach. They haven't had practice in like 2 weeks. They've obviously suffered some kind of outbreak in Cleveland. It seems like every other day someone's getting added to the list. So the Browns are in a tough spot. What a year for them actually making the playoffs in the first time since I can remember. Heck of a turnaround for Cleveland. Like they had a good year. And just because they're going to get eliminated here, I don't think it changes that. They've been dealt a really bad hand here. But I don't know what the NFL is supposed to do, but I will say this is not fair to Cleveland. So I'm going Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I had actually had my picks done like from a few days before they did the announcement that Stefanski got it, and then I had to instantly switch over to Pittsburgh. I was like, oh my God, the Browns have 0 chance in this game.
I'm actually rooting for Cleveland, to be honest.
I mean, so am I, but it's like going to war without your general. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
The left guard's out.
Yeah,
the guy he's been on the team forever. Oh, what's his name?
It's a bad beat.
Whatever. Yeah, he's been on the team through all the bad years, and finally makes the playoffs. And now he has COVID, can't play.
Yeah, it's a bad beat.
I'm sure Steeler fans are happy because again, you by any means you just want to move on to the next round and keep advancing in the playoffs. But to anybody else who's not a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, it sucks. You always want to see 2 teams at their best go at it. Best quality entertainment, the best possible game, because the best team will win. And we're not going to get that in this game because you're going to have players missing. You're going to have coaches missing. Again, like Ryan said, they haven't practiced. What happened?
I'm not sure Denzel Ward's playing either.
Yeah, I'm saying they're missing key players. It's And knowing the Pittsburgh Steelers, they'll still find a way to make it close, but they'll win the game.
Yeah.
They'll
Last
win the
week's
game.
was really close. When the Browns
Yeah,
win
yeah.
against
So
Ben's backup, Rudolph and Dobbs, I think, was in there. So
it's unfortunate. I actually think, again, I think this is going to be my least anticipated game of the weekend. I'd actually rather watch, Rams Seahawks. I'm not even too excited about that one, but at least they have all their star players playing. So I'm not going to, it's football. I'm excited. It's playoffs. I'm going to watch every second of it. But compared to all the other games, I'm more excited for every other game besides this one, just due to, again, all the COVID people missing.
yeah, I will say, whenever you get a round 3 though, between division opponents, it is I find it fun, enticing.
Well, yeah, because it could go either way.
Yeah.
Look, if all the Browns players were playing and Stefanski was there on the field with the guys and they've been practicing,
I wish
I'm taking Browns.
There's an easy.
Taking Browns easy.
I wouldn't say easy, but there could definitely be a debate. It could go either way. It's a division team playing for the third time, 2 times in 2 weeks. It could go either way. So.
Well, that's it for the playoff games. Do you guys want to bring up Deshaun Watson, Markello? Are we good?
If I'm the New York Jets, I'm calling up right now, and I'm saying take number 2, take 20, whatever it's going to be from the Seahawks, and take a second next year and throw him some doo-doo player and go on your merry way and have yourself a Deshaun Watson.
I think that's going to not happen. I still think
this is way too early to be talking about it.
Yeah, but
he hasn't formally said anything.
It's just the news that have been brought up recently. I think this is going to be a topic all offseason, and I don't think he gets dealt. But if he does get dealt, for whatever reason, if he is, fed up with ownership and he just wants out because Houston's a mess, and they lied to him about the general manager search they hired, without him being involved, and they didn't even interview Eric Bieniemy, which is the guy Deshaun Watson apparently wanted. And now we have coaches turning down interviews for the Texans recently, as of yesterday or this morning. So that just tells you what's going on. Houston's a mess ownership wise. So maybe Sean actually does want out. Maybe they get it resolved. Whatever. We talked about this before we came on, but I wouldn't even answer the phone if the team's not offering 3 first-round picks to start with.
Look, I think this is going to be played out. So I think there's going to be a new coach brought in eventually, and then the coach and GM are going to want, and maybe even the owner might want to sit down with Deshaun and try to reconcile things. It's always that whenever a star player wants to leave, let alone your franchise guy. So they're going to try to fix it with him. What comes out of that, we don't know. But, Deshaun Watson's not an idiot. His, agent's not an idiot. They know that, one, they obviously disrespected them, didn't go interview their head coaching preference. They didn't include him in the GM hire. Like, this is your franchise guy. He wants to be a part of it. He is the franchise. He's carried you guys since he's, put on your uniform. The only reason why you've won any division titles or been to the playoffs, won a playoff game is because of Deshaun Watson. And I don't know, it's a lack of respect. He knows he's not an idiot. It's just a matter now of, when that happens, when the talking happens, and when they officially demand a trade. Because, if you're the Texans, you need a complete rebuild. Deshaun's not an idiot. They have no picks right now. They can't even surround him with talent if they wanted to. It's going to be a whole new rebuild because they still have an old roster around him. And no offensive line, no picks to fix it. It's not good, and he knows it. And the only way you could get a true rebuild started is trading away him and JJ, the only value left on your team. Maybe you could get something for David Johnson. Maybe you could get something for Brandon Cooks. You know what I mean? Like, wherever you can, and just start new. It's as if, they're being brought into the league again. It's like David Carr all over.
Cooks basically declared that he wasn't accepting a trade again in week 17.
Waiving, trading, letting go, whatever the case may be.
I don't know.
Starting new, a true rebuild.
I agree with JJ Watt and everything else, but getting rid of a 25-year-old quarterback, because Deshaun Watson's going to be great for 10 years or more.
Look, they're not going to want to, but when he's demanding a trade and saying, I'm not going to play.
They're going to get it resolved, dude. They'll hire, I'll guess, since Bieniemy's not involved, that was my initial guess. I'll guess they hire Joe Brady, and things will be fine in like 3 weeks.
Does Joe Brady really want that job?
Head coaching job's a head coaching job. I guess we'll find out, right? Here to interview.
He'd get it anywhere.
Well, that doesn't seem to be the case so far. He's only interviewed with 2 teams, I think.
Who was it? It was the Falcons and who?
The Texans.
I don't know. And that doesn't mean he has to take a job this year. You wait one more year, you build it up. Instead of 2 teams asking to interview, it's turn it to 8 to 10. You know what I mean? Like it all depends. Look at McCarthy. Look at Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, nobody wanted him after Dallas, and now he's getting interviews.
Only one with the Chargers. So I don't know how.
It's still something, right, for Jason Garrett?
Yeah, but
That's why it only takes 1 year.
should there even be an interview for Jason Garrett?
I don't know. But the Saints would also welcome Deshaun Watson open arms. I give up anything for him. Anything.
You guys don't have
Yeah.
like what other teams could offer.
I think we have more than what other teams can offer.
No, you don't.
Besides a high draft pick.
They need a future. They're not going to make a trade with like a playoff team that's not going to give them like a good future.
I think
about it. If they do trade Deshaun Watson, forget about in division. Obviously, that's out of the question. I don't even think they trade in conference. I think any AFC team they're not doing.
That's not true.
With Deshaun, he's talking about the Hopkins thing, where Bill O'Brien wouldn't trade inside the conference.
But even because obviously Bill O'Brien's not there anymore, they're not going to want to face the possibility of facing Deshaun in the playoffs. They know what he is. They're not stupid. Obviously, they don't want to get rid of him.
Playoffs, they don't have to worry about that.
No, but it's going to be an NFC team.
They would have won 0 without him. So
it's going to be an NFC team if he does
I'd say
get
the
traded.
49ers have a better bet than you guys.
You could say that, but what do they have to offer?
They have very little.
They can just send them at least Jimmy Garoppolo to bridge whoever, whatever, and then picks.
If I was the Texans, what I would do is I would call up the Dolphins. I would take pick 3, 18, Tua, and more.
No, that's not happening.
If you're playing Madden.
That's not happening. Come on.
If you're playing Madden.
Yeah, that's not happening, dude.
I wouldn't even want to. That would just be a throw.
3, 18, and 2. Oh, no, come on.
I wouldn't even want to. That's just part of like the business.
Realistically, I don't think they're trading him in the AFC if they do trade him at all.
I think the AFC is realistically the only thing they can accept, just based on what teams.
I'd say the 2 best teams in the AFC that have a shot in him are either the Bears or the 49ers, bro. Those are the only 2 teams.
What are the Bears going to give them? The Bears are in the playoffs too, you know.
Yeah, but they have better young prospects than you guys.
Offer Khalil Mack.
Better young prospects? Who?
What do you guys have that you're going to offer? Marcus Davenport? That's it? I'm not hearing it.
Why not? I'm done with Davenport. I'm off the train.
Oh, I wonder why.
I gave him the chance. No, but that doesn't mean he can't be developed somewhere else. I thought if he was going to develop anywhere, it'd be, with the Saints defense and behind Cameron Jordan learn. But
Davenport, that's not realistic.
No, you give up Davenport, you give up picks, and you can throw in more players. We have more players that people would want.
I don't know. I just feel like the Jets and Jacksonville can offer.
I know he's going to be a free agent, but there's always signing trades and stuff in the rights. Give away Marcus Williams. I could find another safety in the draft.
Well, Marcus Williams is a free agent, so he literally just
a sign and trade. I'm saying whatever the case is, whoever's a free agent, you bring back.
What if Atlanta sends like pick 4, Matt Ryan? Oh my God, that would be such a squad. No. Julio would have to stay for getting Deshaun Watson.
And one, they can't even afford capitalize Atlanta.
Yeah, it's true.
Atlanta who could find a way around cap, Mickey Loomis.
I didn't even consider Atlanta. Atlanta would make sense to me. 4th overall pick, I would send Julio and maybe a first next year. But then again, you're dealing with no quarterback then for the Texans. But I mean that's what's going to end up happening when you trade away. You have to take a quarterback then at 4. I don't think it's going to happen. This is all just speculation.
That's what I'm saying. You could hit up like Chicago or the 49ers and just take
if you wanted to pull
a bridge quarterback for like a year.
If you wanted to pull the Atlanta angle, you could at least make the argument that that's, he's not from Atlanta, but I think he's from Georgia, Deshaun Watson. So he would be playing back home, his home state.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think Atlanta's a good spot. I like where they're picking. I like what they can also package the player, whether it's Matt Ryan or Julio.
Well, you just got to look at who's picking in. Let's say, right, like in this draft, who's picking in the top 10, and that would fit.
If he did go to Atlanta, at least he would get Calvin Ridley and a better offensive line. Not good, not great, not good, but at least it's
serviceable.
Yeah.
He just wants to be respected by the front office. He wants say in decision making.
Oh my God! Imagine he goes to Carolina. Oof. That would be an interesting place too.
Joe Brady just stays there and declines the head coaching job for
yeah, there's a lot of spots he could land.
Again, this is months away. I don't think he's going to get traded for months, if he even does get traded.
Or what if Dallas works a signing trade, him and Dak?
Not happening. That's not happening.
Jerry Jones wouldn't do that.
Dude, you think Jerry Jones is going to pay Dak the money he wants?
he's not that much of a risk taker to be doing stuff like that, signing, trading for quarterback.
Dak Prescott should be extended. Should have been extended last year. I don't care if they won like 6 or 7 games. Anyone who said that Andy Dalton's even close to Dak Prescott is an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot if you think that. Dak Prescott was a top 10 quarterback last year, and I think he was this year before he got hurt. Yes, his stats, especially this year, were a little bit inflated in terms of passing yards because their defense sucked so bad. But it's not all about that. Just watch the game. Like, Dak Prescott's really good. Hopefully, we'll see now, how he recovered. But Dallas should have signed him. It was clear. They extended Zeke instead. So we'll see what happens now. But Dak's not going anywhere either. I guarantee.
Yeah, he's going to stay. Even if, regardless of the contract situation, now might be tricky with his injury and how much faith they'll have in that. But he's going to be a Cowboy.
Yeah.
At least for this upcoming season. Because if they keep him for one more year with any kind of tag or whatever, then he'll be a true free agent and someone will pay him somewhere.
I don't think he'll play on the tag.
Well, the tag now would even be more money than last year.
Yeah, but I still don't think he would play on it.
Maybe like $40 million or maybe more.
And risk get injured again? No thanks. I'll pass.
I think he will want the long-term security. I think he'll get it. Honestly.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I think he, especially after an injury like this, you want to lock yourself
whether
up
it's
for
with
the years
the Cowboys,
coming.
Jerry Jones front office or anybody in the league, I think Dak and his agent, their first thing is going to say, we want security.
Yeah.
We want guaranteed money because look what happened to Dak. That's going to be the number one, unquestionable. You can't. This is our must give and demand. We could talk about everything else after you give us that demand. We're not budging on that. We want the long-term security guaranteed money.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode. We'll see how the wildcard games go. Hopefully the games are good. I think they will.
It'll be a fun weekend.
I think we'll get
NFL football
4 to
playoffs.
6. Good. And we'll come back next week and we'll talk about the divisional round.
Yep. Talk to you guys next week.
Maybe any of the coaching hires. I think that'll start coming up next week. Well, thank you guys. Have a good weekend and enjoy the games.